All right, we are live. How's everybody doing?
Good. How
Good.
about you?
Doing good. Welcome, folks, to a Small Town Monsters live stream. We have Idris will be providing a soundtrack for us.
She does have color commentary, and she won't go away.
There we go. So, I guess this is just sort of a live stream. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're hoping to make this a semi-monthly kind of thing, do a live stream, just kind of interact with folks in the chat and everything and take some questions and that sort of thing and talk about updates mostly in terms of what's going on with STM. We've got 94 people watching so far. So hello to everybody in the chat. And bounced up to 106 now. So I'm sure that number will continue to grow. But
skyrocketing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on here in the STM world, of course. So I don't know if we want to just dive right into conversation or if we want to let people kind of pour in a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we could talk about life. I mean, it'll build up as we're alive, so I don't want to announce anything too big.
I can just, if you want, I can just take a second and say hi to some of the folks in the chat.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see.
The Bigfoot Society, who will Jeremiah will be a guest at Monster Fest coming up.
There we go. Bigfoot Society says, "Let's go." What's up, Jeremiah? Awesome guy. We've got Julian in the chat. Hello, David, Corey James, member as well. Scott. Cat Eyes in the Sky.
Scott.
Ready to watch. Big Al presents. Brown Dwarf. What's going on, man? Brian and Should We Go Hiking? What's up, Brian? My buddy Brian from New England. Got Jennifer Arnold. Hey there. Darter says, hi from Australia. Hey, all the way down there. Paul Haywood says, good day, all. Corey James says, it's time. Yes, that's very ominous. I love it. James Brost, what's going on? He says, hey, Alex, your beard is as beautiful as ever. Thank you. Gary Platt from Atlanta. We've got Hike with Mike. Hello from the land of the skunk ape. Whiskey with cryptids. Hey, y'all. Or hey, all. I'm adding.
Yeah, you added
southern stuff in there. Hi from New York for Nancy. We've got Smedley Do Right says Alex is STM NH. I suppose so. The branch office.
Yeah, you're the New Hampshire branch of Small Town.
We've got an East Coast, kind of Midwest. Then we've got a West Coast thing. Yeah, Charles Smock as well. R&R Express. Anthony says hello from Mississippi. We've got Scott. What's going on? Scott is awesome. Outback Orchard. A lot of people in the chat. So hey to everyone who's tuning in now. All right. I can't even keep up with it. There's a lot just coming in. So hey to everyone. Awesome to see everyone here. Anthony here says, can't wait for Monster Fest. That's awesome. Maybe we should just say when that is and talk about that right away.
Yeah, we might as well get into that.
Yeah, so Monster Fest is June 3rd here in Canton, Ohio, with a film premiere the night of June 2nd. So kind of a Friday night, all-day Saturday event right here in downtown. So Friday night, we're premiering On the Trail of Bigfoot, On the Trail of Bigfoot.
You got it. Land of the
Missing.
We keep it's coming out so close to Last Frontier that I keep calling it. I keep calling Land of the Missing Last Frontier, but Land of the Missing will be premiering at the Canton Palace on Friday, June 2nd.
Yeah, that'll be 6:30 at night. Tickets are now available for pre-sale through the Canton Palace's website. There's a link on our website. They are $7. They will also be available at the door, same price. After the movie, we are having a panel with some Q&A with not only crew, but also some of our guest speakers from Monster Fest the next day will be there to chat and answer questions. Then Saturday is Monster Fest.
And we're gonna officially unveil the schedule and everything here on social media eventually, but we'll go ahead and run over some of that tonight as well because we haven't done it yet. But just to reiterate, it's at the Doubletree in downtown Canton, Ohio. Tickets are at smalltownmonsters.com.
VIP passes are available. If you do the VIP upgrade, you automatically get into the Friday night movie as part of that.
Oh, one thing I want to say, Alex and I talked about this earlier today, but the Land of the Missing has some really probably some of the best scenic footage we've ever shot. and to see it on one of the largest screens in northeastern Ohio is going to be wild. So the Canton Palace screening of that, you're not going to want to miss if you're in the area, because that premiere is going to be pretty crazy to see some of that Alaskan footage on the big screen. So we're really excited about that. But the event will kick off on Saturday, June 3rd. We are doing, so the VIP passes have early entry attached to them.
At
9 a.m. You'll be able to get into the vendor hall.
Which is also where the guests are.
Yes, our guests will be there. We'll be there. Vendors will be in there. What do we have to announce? I don't know.
All right. So VIPs at 9, general public at 10. It goes till 6 p.m. Throughout the day, we do have 4 speakers, 4 live podcasts, and 5 movie screenings happening kind of all simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
As far as speakers, our first speaker will be Mr. Alexander Petikoff.
Whoa.
Followed
you're hearing it here first.
Followed by Ohio's own Amy Boo, Bigfoot researcher, female, and just really cool girl. She's going to be there to give a lecture. Followed that by Stan Gordon. Another big name after that will be Lauren Coleman.
That's going to be big.
And then the podcast room, I'm not going to run down. I don't even know if we have the official lineup for that as far as like when the schedule is. You probably do.
I typed that.
Okay, but we're not going to go through when those are, but
we don't do the time.
The live podcasts are going to be Bigfoot Society.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Woo.
Yeah, Sasquatch Experience with my buddy Sean Forker. Yeah, I'm wearing my Sasquatch Experience shirt.
Cool guys.
Astonishing Legends is doing a live show. Jim Harold is doing a live show, and then Spooks, Creeps, and Assorted Devilry is in there as well. So that's the 5 live podcasts that we're going to have in the podcast room. The screening room is just going to run through an assortment of STM productions. I'm not sure what you have lined up, but I know American Werewolves is playing. It's supposed to be on there.
It could be.
You're going to have to swap that around.
Okay.
Something's coming out. On American Werewolves is playing for a couple of reasons. But one of them being that Martin Grove is actually supposed to be there, and he was one of the witnesses featured in the movie. Beyond that, we also have Shane Grove and the judge will be in attendance for Monster Fest. They'll actually have a table. So you'll be able to meet some of the people that were featured in American Werewolves. Let me think. What else do I have to say? We have a ton of vendors lined up. And then we have guests. Do you want to run down our guest list?
Yeah,
impressive list.
Yeah.
So our guest list is Cliff Berkman, Amy Boo, Lauren Coleman, Lyle Blackburn, Astonishing Legends, who will have Richard Haddam at their table, Stan Gordon, Jim Harold, Justin Chernopesky. Also kind of around, but not necessarily at a table, we're going to have Shannon LeGros, Aaron Deese, Jeremiah Byron, Alexander Petikoff, Eli Watson, all of the STM crew.
Yeah, the STM crew, we're going to have a table right at the front when you come in. And I would assume most of the STM gang will be hanging at that table throughout the day. So that's where you'll be able to find us. I don't know what else. Oh, we have a restaurant. The hotel, the Doubletree, has a restaurant, and they are theming a menu to cryptids.
That's gonna be cool.
There's gonna be like cryptid food items.
Yeah, they're working on coming up with a menu that will be very quick, so people can get in, get out, get back to the event. But they're also going to have fun names and just make it themed for the event. Apparently their chef is super into that sort of thing, so I'll be working with him over the next couple of weeks to finalize that.
Yeah. So that's all the info we have on it right now. But we're extremely excited about it, and we're still putting together some surprises for the event. So I'm sure there's going to be more stuff going on. I know that like First Friday in Canton is going on the night of the Palace premiere, and they're involved now as well. And we have the Visit Canton, which is like Canton's Tourism Board. They're sponsoring the event.
Arts and Stark.
And Arts and Stark is as well. So we're pretty stoked about it.
And we teased the shirt earlier. It was posted on social media this week, the official STM Monster Fest shirt.
Yep.
And we have one more surprise. Do you have the picture, Alex?
Yes, I will have to pull it up. Just give me one moment here.
I didn't even know what you were talking about.
Let me put you on the spot, Alex.
So, oh no, why is, of course, now it's not wanting to work.
Well, we could at least,
you could talk about it. Let me just pull this up real quick. Give me a second here.
So we are going to have a very special, very limited, extremely limited run of American Werewolves VHS, special edition VHS. I'll let Courtney give the
so I've been working with Critical Blast Video, who is a small indie like video publishing kind of retro company, and we're doing a limited run of 300 numbered copies of American Werewolves on VHS. They will come out for the first time at Monster Fest. If they sell out there, they sell out. There's not going to be any more. If there's any left over, we'll put them on our web store afterwards, of course. But what's really cool about this is there's also going to be a booklet inside of it that has an essay written by, there's a name on here.
There's a name. I know there's an interview with me.
There's an interview with
I've already started answering questions.
Adam Albright is the guy who's writing the essay within there that's kind of on dogmen. It's topical. So it's going to be very special because we're getting half of the 300 run. The other half is theirs because it's a partnership collaboration. So once they're gone, they're gone. So we'll see if they make them through Monster Fest. But I thought it was extremely cool that for this retro project we did, we're actually putting it out on VHS.
Yeah, it fits the tone of the movie really well. And we were super stoked to have that. I can tell you we're only going to be selling 150 of them total. So we're going to have at the event, we'll have them, and that will actually be sort of the launch event. And then any leftovers will go up on the web store.
Assuming there are leftovers. I'm not actually sure there will be.
Mm-hmm. So that's
so there's your graphic for it. That's going to be what so that's what the VHS, and it's going to be like you pull it out of the box, or how's it going to look?
Yeah, it'll be an old school sleeve that you pull out, and it'll have the little booklet like you get in the fancy VHSs back in the day.
There was originally talk about it being red. I don't know if it's actually going to be red or not.
Originally, it was going to be two-tone black and red. However, the two-tone cassettes are getting really hard to find, so it's going to be a matter if they can get them. Mm-hmm. So maybe.
Yeah, that's really cool. Don't throw away your VCRs just yet, guys. VHS, you're going to need it because I think I still have one laying around. So I'm definitely going to make sure to keep
I still have one from when we made Bray Road Beast because I actually had like a VHS that I think Linda gave me that I had to copy over into the film. And so somewhere that's still laying around. So anyway, that's our big Monster Fest announcements.
Awesome. Somebody had asked if there was a website for this. There is, and it's linked in the description below. It's on the Small Town Monsters website, but if you click on that link in the description of this video, it'll take you to the page for Monster Fest. So I know somebody had asked that in the chat. I don't remember where, but just so you know, go down there. Yes, here we go. Is there a website for it? Yep, just below. So it's going to be super cool. I'm really excited because it's just sort of, it's like a fusion event almost. I mean, you've got the elements of a traditional kind of cryptid paranormal sort of conferences with the speakers, but it's not just that. Because I find a lot of these events that we'll do or go to, that's like the overwhelming thing, and everyone kind of wants to hang out and do their thing. So this is, you have the conference part, you have the hangout part, you've got the podcast part. So you can go and hop into one room and go to another and kind of do your thing. I think it's going to be really cool. You're going to see a lot of people you don't see at events that often. For example, Justin Chernipeski. I mean, I don't know if he's ever done an event in the US.
Yeah. And
Mountain Beast Mysteries, for folks that aren't aware.
It's like you and I were talking about earlier this week, Alex. I wanted to do something that really involved the podcast more heavily. Because I don't know about you, but I have to give it to podcasts for why I'm even into these topics.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big podcast listener. So I wanted to make sure that we did something that gave those podcasts a spotlight, and especially because I don't know what it is, but a lot of the events that I go to they kind of like overlook the podcasts,
right?
And podcasters, and so yeah, I wanted to bring some of those people in and have them involved.
We have Amy Boo actually watching. Oh no, where'd it go? She says she's in here. Amy Boo says hi guys, so she's one of the speakers. So if you want to come learn about what she does, and she's a member of the Olympic Project, and she's a Ohio researcher, obviously. So that's that great local kind of connection, which should be cool.
Before we switch out of Monster Fest, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors that are vendors at the event, just to kind of get their names out there. We're going to be doing a lot of social media posts, but we have Hellbent Hollers going to be there, Seymour's Captive Cryptids. On Wednesdays, we talk weird, Alien Roasters Coffee, Charlie Custom Toys, Jason Hewlett, Justin Snyder, and Max Lim are all sponsors at the event.
What a lineup! Seriously, a lot of great names in that collection.
Yeah,
so
Seymour is building us some.
Yeah,
stuff
I don't
right
know.
now.
I haven't said that anywhere, but Seymour is in the process of building us 2 full body Bigfoot suits that we're going to be using for recreations for Beyond the Trail, Mysteries and Monsters, Sasquatch Unearthed, probably On the Trail of Bigfoot. So we're pretty stoked about that and having him involved.
Yeah, it's just going to be awesome. So a lot of that footage you guys see in some of the videos where it's the Bigfoot recreations, we're going to get a lot more of that. But yeah, what a lineup. I'm super excited. Like I said, just because of the element of how different it is, I think, from the traditional kind of event. It's not super serious, yet it is serious enough that you can just have a great time with it. So, and again, those dates will be that's June 2nd, right?
2nd and 3rd. 2nd
and 3rd in Canton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And the info about that is in the description, guys. So please go check that out if you are interested, especially if you're local. I know that it's starting to fill up. So definitely
we do. If you're looking for a hotel room, if you call the hotel, ask for the Small Town Monsters room block. We have a couple rooms left, like 5 or less, but they are there. I am working on getting a secondary hotel. As soon as I get that block information, I'll put it out everywhere.
Yeah, the hotel is one of the, it's by far the biggest in downtown Canton, but it's one of the biggest within the city limits. And it's from what I've told outside of our room block, the hotel is booked. So the only rooms remaining are within the STM room block. And there's only, when we were there last week, they said there was only like 7. And
it's down to less than 5.
Yeah, there's only a few left. And from what I heard, I saw people online saying they tried to book rooms by clicking a link. And the link just said everything was sold out. So they called, and by calling, they were told there were still a couple left.
So you have to ask for our room block. It's under Small Town Monsters. There's a few left. Mm-hmm. Get them while they're hot.
Yeah,
definitely a good idea. And for folks that might not be from the Ohio area, Canton is kind of just south of Cleveland, right? So not that far, maybe like an hour from Cleveland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly an hour. It's also home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So if you're into football, make it a football and cryptids weekend.
Absolutely. Awesome. So yeah, that's some great info about that. Super excited. It's going to be great. I do just want to plug something real quick here regards to the Boreal Bigfoot Expo. So cool. This is the only events I'm doing this year are going to be Monster Fest, and literally the weekend after that in Fairbanks, Alaska. So if you are watching us from Alaska, or if you want to go on a trip up to Alaska, I'm going to be a speaker there with Eli. So the 2 of us will be up there, and we will be showing some of the films. So On the Trail of Bigfoot, Last Frontier, talking about the Alaskan coastal Sasquatch and that sort of thing. So that's the Boreal Bigfoot Expo. Just wanted to kind of plug that real quick. And it's going to be, again, tight time frame because it's right after Monster Fest. But
that is we were talking earlier after we got off that call with you, Alex, and I said to Courtney, like, it's weird because we are technically in the calm before the storm right now. And I'm not even talking about Monster Fest. I'm kind of talking about what happens after Monster Fest because the amount of film and YouTube content we have going out this year. But this is a calm before the storm, which is terrifying because it's insane right now. So
yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, we're really excited. And Scott actually asks, heading back out to Area A.
Can we talk? I mean, can we at least like tease that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the best way to talk about it would be, obviously people that watch the channel would know about the Alaskan coastal Sasquatch and that have seen the film On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Last Frontier. Alaska is a kind of a big focus. And if you come to Monster Fest, you will be, for the Friday night, you can watch the premiere of Land of the Missing, which is Alaska specific as well. But we realized when we were there, I think that collectively that we weren't done with Alaska. I mean, it's just no way. It was like a tip of the iceberg kind of moment. I think when we were up there, the amount of stories that we heard. I mean, you guys interviewed, I don't even know how many people, pretty ridiculous amount between the two films, right? So
yeah, it was close to 20.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you just hear these stories and subsequently we've of course been told a lot of stories. So I'm going to be heading back up there to kind of continue where we left off with Area A. So we're going to be doing an entire, I don't know if we're calling it a spin-off series or kind of another Bigfoot project sort of thing.
I don't know how to think about it yet, because I think I might have said to you, but like there's no telling if this will be a one and done or if it's going to, like, we don't know what's going to happen here. But Alex is definitely okay. So it's going to be something separate from BTT, from Beyond the Trail. It's going to be focused on Alexander out at Area A.
Yep.
And it's going to be its own series. We're looking at probably around 6 episodes.
Something kind of like a little bit like Bigfoot Project-esque, maybe, but
yes,
with its own flair.
And it'll be it will not replace BTT. The plan is that BTT will continue running around the same time. That's what I'm saying about how crazy this year is going to get with YouTube specifically. But it's something I'm super excited to see come to fruition, because the Area A stuff is really interesting to me.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to deep dive into that. I mean, obviously we spent a week out there last time, but this time it's going to be closer to 2 weeks. So that's going to give a lot more time. We're going to experiment a lot of the stuff that we feel like we didn't get to do last year. I mean, it was just kind of our first trip out there, so you don't really know what to expect. But now we've got so many ideas. People have sent us ideas. We're going to kind of play with stuff like the baby crying stuff that's been recorded out there. We're going to emphasize that and work a little bit on that, see if we can't get anything similar, that sort of thing. And so that will be its own sort of series about Area A, really dedicated. I think if there's ever a location to dedicate something, again, like a Bigfoot Project, Beyond the Trail kind of fusion,
I can
Area A.
I can make an announcement finally.
He just got an email.
The Mothman of Point Pleasant is going up on the STM YouTube channel on Sunday at 2 p.m. It is going live for Squad as soon as I'm done here. It is in 4K. So it's the first time we'll have a 4K re-release of the Mothman of Point Pleasant on the YouTube channel. If you are a channel member, you're going to get it pretty much immediately. It's already uploaded. It's ready to go. I've just been waiting on a copyright clearance. And we're good to go. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to launch that for our channel members in 4K. And then there's going to be the public launch will happen on Sunday. So, and the next one, I can also give you a tease that the next one coming out will be Invasion on Chestnut Ridge, which is going to hit later this month as well, or later in April as well. So the plan is to get out some of the titles that we have in our own. We switched that around today.
This is the new one.
That is the new one?
This is the new one.
Okay, so Sunday, 5/7, Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. So Mothman and Point Pleasant this Sunday, and then Invasion on Chestnut Ridge will hit on May 7th. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Alex.
No, that's cool. That's good because it's stuff that I think has been out there kind of floating around for a number of years, stuff like Mothman. I mean, that even predates the STM YouTube days. So pretty cool that people on YouTube will now be kind of exposed to that if they haven't seen it already. I think that's exciting. But yeah, see what I mean? Like there's a lot of things going on, as you guys have been saying too, between re-releasing stuff like that and some of the new stuff that's going on. I'm super excited. I just know there's a lot going on. There's a lot we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we have the films are coming. Obviously we've been talking about Land of the Missing, but the first movie, our first film release of the year will be feature film, like the documentary feature will be the Dogman Triangle, and that'll be out June. Is that what we said? I don't remember. We're still working on the details of that release, but that'll be our first launch feature of the year. And we're really excited about that one as well. We filmed that last fall. That will be followed up by Land of the Missing, which will be followed by American Werewolves 2, which I can tell you guys, we shot interviews for that in New Mexico a couple weeks ago. Some of the craziest witness stories I've been a part of capturing. And we are extremely, I just love editing in that American Werewolf style because I grew up on those like 80s and 90s paranormal TV shows. And it gives me like this chance to bring all that stuff out creatively. So we're really excited to get that out. That will be out hopefully in September. American Werewolves 2 in September, and then
wait, if we're talking about Dogmen, we need to talk about the book.
Okay,
yeah,
so,
as Scott says, and the book. ...
Well, the book will be out.
I have stuff I can say about the book now.
Yeah, we have book details we can drop.
Let me bring up my calendar.
Alex, are we just talking over your? Did we? Just
No. I was going to ask. You guys were on the Navajo Nation for part of that, right? So that's going to be. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, that was a wild experience too. They took us to a place called Skinwalker Canyon, which is right outside of Farmington. Really, really interesting place. Some super creepy stories. And honestly, just like we were with a lady named Brenda, and I'd always heard like you're not super welcome there. Like like you're not
the outsider kind of thing.
Yeah, you're kind of an outsider. And they were really welcoming to us, and we felt right at home there. So it was really cool. But we experienced some just amazing stuff while we were there.
So the book is going to be coming out May 2nd. And pre-orders will start about 2 weeks before that.
Mm-hmm. What did you say it is?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
May 2nd. And that book is directly related to
it is. It's Aaron Diez's book, who the movie is based off his work. He is one of the hosts of the movie. So
and we have a foreword or an introduction to that book by Lyle Blackburn, which it's kind of like the perfect, melding of STM with Aaron's first foray into writing a book. So we're
Lyle, and Shannon is involved in that as well.
Yeah,
Shannon and Aaron are co-hosts.
Yeah.
So would you say it's sort of like, does it have elements of maybe On the Trail UFOs kind of thing, or is
it like we took a different approach. Which is that we kind of just captured what happened as it happened. Nothing was necessarily it wasn't structured at all in the way an On the Trail of is, but it does have certain elements to it that remind you of On the Trail. Like whether it's On the Trail of Bigfoot or On the Trail of UFOs. We just kind of let Shannon talk to Aaron, and their dialogue scenes, like On the Trail of Bigfoot always has dialogue scenes. On the Trail of UFO does as well, where like the host speaks to another person and they kind of like help bookend the movie. They have 5 or 6 of those moments in the movie, and they're much more in depth than the typical on the trail of stuff is. They're doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of explaining the concept of the Dogman Triangle to the audience, starting with like the historical accounts of Dogman sightings in Texas that date back to the 1800s, and then moving into like what people are seeing and where they're seeing them, and if it's paranormal or flesh and blood, like all that kind of stuff is touched on. The impact on witnesses. There's a really cool moment where Aaron called a friend of his who actually had a sighting while driving, and we recorded them, we videoed them talking to each other,
like a spontaneous moment.
Yeah, and it's a really cool moment in the movie and that kind of thing. So I'm really excited for people to see this.
So on that note, question from Jody says, where can we watch the movies when it comes out?
Well, we're still working on that. Dogman Triangle will be available on all the typical VOD platforms. So Amazon and
iTunes and Tubi. And
iTunes, yeah, and like as things go on, we're gonna take back some element of control of our own distribution, at least for a while, and probably on specific titles. This one we're gonna control our own distribution, so it probably will drop on a lot of the free VOD platforms like Tubi.
Right.
So it's usually on Amazon, iTunes, all that kind of stuff, and then some of the free platforms probably a little ways after it comes out.
Super cool. Awesome. Thanks for addressing that. Yeah, that's going to be good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going to talk a little bit now about some Beyond the Trail stuff that's upcoming, and then I think we'll open it up maybe for some. We can talk about maybe Monsters and Mysteries too. I know there's a new episode of that coming out soon too, but we'll talk about that in a moment here. But I do just want to say that we have about 120 people watching the chat right now. Hey to everyone. I know there's a ton of people popping in. And when you guys do throw questions in, happy to answer them. But if you could try to keep them in all caps, that really helps in terms of being able to see, where the questions are at, just because the chat's kind of flying around. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I'm going to show a clip here from upcoming Bigfoot Beyond the Trail. So I'll stop talking and I will just instead share that video clip. So we'll be back with you guys in about a moment or so.
Never have I seen a more primitive woods than the Honey Island Swamp. When I say primitive, I've seen, the Appalachians, the Ozarks, mountains out west. They have their challenges. This is different.
It had this dirty, gray, matted looking fur. And this thing stood in the midline of the road. If I would have been over another maybe foot, I would have hit him with my mirror.
It grabbed this dog by the body and pulled it and pulled its head off.
Alrighty, so there you have it, little teaser trailer for the upcoming Bigfoot Beyond the Trail, which will be focusing on the Honey Island Swamp Monster story down in Louisiana. I was down there in February. You might have seen the video that came out with Louisiana Sasquatch search kind of in the swamp there. I was with Scott of the Bigfoot Mapping Project, and apparently Scott was telling me today, if you guys have reports, by the way, go to the bigfootmap.com. Just bigfootmap.com, submit your reports. We got a few reports that came in directly referencing the video, and he said there's been 63 reports in March, apparently.
Crazy.
So that's just wild. I mean, it's just cool to see that. I mean, there's even some in areas we're interested in that we're going to probably follow up with those witnesses. So super cool. But yeah, this new Bigfoot Beyond the Trail is basically kind of a deep dive into the whole lore of the Honey Island Swamp Monster, which is sort of a southern Bigfoot kind of story. I've always been interested in it. I actually have right behind me, and I can pull it up. I have a track casting from kind of that whole Honey Island story, and This is the guy right here. So you can
Nice.
see the track. This was given to me by Dana Holyfield, who is the granddaughter of the guy who supposedly made these casts. Now, I mean, I see something like this, and I'm skeptical. We'll put it that way. You'll have to wait to see in the film kind of about my opinions on that a little bit further. But it's a cool story. It's like a quintessential sort of swamp monster story, but it's more of a Bigfoot-like creature, I would say. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard any whisperings of that when you were down there doing Rougarou stuff or not, but it's one of the more well-known stories in Louisiana, actually.
I didn't hear anything directly about the Honey Island Swamp, but the Bigfoot activity in the state was kept coming up while we were there from people who I was
right?
like asking for it from. Like they would just tell me stuff about Bigfoot because we were making a movie about the Rougarou. And I think I messaged you or something. I was like, you guys got to come down here at some point because it's like the perfect, especially that Atchafalaya where you were. It's like the perfect place for something to hide. How cold was it when you were there? Or was it?
It was very warm. It was actually a warm streak when I was down there. It was like 85 degrees certain days with some humidity. And then as soon as I left, they had a cold streak, was back down in the 60s. Because for end of February, that was a little unusually warm. So it was very swampy. The gators were out from their kind of, I don't know if it's really a hibernation. They kind of just lay low for the winter months. Because it can get cold in Louisiana. I mean, they can get snow in certain areas. That's pretty rare, but it does happen. But it was super cool to be down there. The Honey Island Swamp Monster is always one I've been interested in because of kind of the controversy around there's supposedly the footage that came out before the Patterson-Gimlin film, right? That's the claim, but it was released in like 1973. So there's questions whether or not the PG film kind of inspired that. And then the tracks that are associated with it anatomically don't make a lot of sense. But the South has a lot of these weird stories. When you have the skunk ape thing too, where there's those really weird looking footprints that make no biological sense, right, in terms of being a creature. So that's going to be cool. There's other Bigfoot Beyond the Trail stuff coming as well. We'll be doing some New England stuff in the coming months. As we talked about earlier, there's going to be a bunch of Alaska ones too that are going to be actually separate from the Alaska kind of Area A focus. So there'll be more of your standard kind of Beyond the Trail sort of stuff. BC. And then what's that?
BC too, because you're going to be filming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's something, because it's like, I know that's going to be coming out towards the end of the year, so I didn't even register it. But
I know
British Columbia, that is one that has been on my list for so long. I'm sure yours as well, Seth. I have a stack of books next to me that I'm doing kind of research mode for BC. I just got I'll turn it this way. I just got the Raincoat Sasquatch by Dr. Robert Alley. Fantastic book. We've got Giants by Thomas Steenberg. In Search of Giants classic. I have another one of his, but it focuses more on Alberta. We've also got probably my favorite Bigfoot book ever. It is the North America's Sasquatch by John Binnernagel.
Yeah,
it reads like a wildlife guide.
I'm diving into the green stuff. I mean, we both,
that was my next one.
We both have our own approaches to this stuff. Mine is always going to start with the history, and I'm like, the reason I'm just so stoked to go there is because of Green's connection. John Green's like, my favorite of the original pioneers of the topic. Yeah, and I'm just excited to get out there, especially to Harrison Hot Springs, and kind of walk around his stomping grounds.
Yeah, that's it's super cool. I've just been reading some of this stuff in my free time, and it's so awesome. I have another book coming from kind of First Nations perspective up there guy, and he's referenced actually a lot. His name was Clayton Mack. He was a Nuksalk grizzly bear guide up in the British Columbia coast, and he's referenced by DeHinden and John Green. He had claimed to have had 3 Sasquatch sightings in kind of the coastal mountains, and he used to be a grizzly bear hunting guide. And the book is called Grizzlies and White Guys, and it's like a book about his journeys, and supposedly has a lot of his Sasquatch stuff. But like, you can find online pictures of this guy Clayton with Renee DeHinden and Harrison Hot Springs and all these other locations when they kind of in the heyday of that British Columbia stuff. But being that's the place where Sasquatch came from, the name, I mean, I'm just beyond excited to touch ground there in British Columbia and Canada. We have not been to Canada yet. at all in any of the films, any of the Beyond the Trail stuff. So this will be, I guess, our first kind of international thing.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely is. Yeah. Although, I've always thought of your Loch Ness short doc as a secret STM, even though you did it before you knew me.
Nobody should watch that.
Minerva Monster Day.
Yeah, please don't go watch it. It's really not good.
It's good.
A lot has changed since then.
I like it.
So, but yeah, that's going to be so much fun. So yeah, like I said, so much Beyond the Trail stuff coming. And then obviously stuff like On the Trail of Bigfoot. And that's On the Trail of Bigfoot, the origins basically is kind of how you're approaching it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's going to delve into the First Nations origins of the Sasquatch legend, and you know, like how that affected or impacted the history of the subject as it pertains to, you know, sort of the lower 48 especially. And there's a chance we're going to be working on a second film while we're there as well, similar to what we did with Alaska. You never know what you're going to end up with. And we have this is actually on our end, this is an abbreviated shoot compared to Alaska. Alaska, we had 17 days. This, we only have basically like 5 full days there on our end. So it's going to be up to what all we can turn up when we're there.
Yeah, I won't be there too much longer than you guys, given we'll be up in Alaska quite a bit this summer. But I do want to just say a shout out to Kevin Hamilton. He says Canada welcomes you. Kevin is actually an old listener from my Sasquatch Out of the Shadows live stream I used to do. I haven't seen him in a while, so awesome to see he's jumped over here too. Very cool. Now I do want to get into some questions, and we'll let people, if you guys got questions, start asking it. But maybe, do you have a quick update on Monsters and Mysteries? Because I know there's like an episode coming up soon.
So we do have, where's our release calendar? We have one coming up. I think it's next Sunday, isn't it?
It's like a Sierra Sasquatch.
So Mysteries and Monsters comes out on Sunday the 9th. For our channel members, we're hoping to have it up on the 5th. I don't know that that's going to happen, but it will be for sure. The public version is going to launch on Sunday the 9th. And yeah, it delves into it's California. That's all I know.
I think I want to say it's the episode with Matt Moneymaker.
I think it is.
I think it is, but I'm not entirely sure.
So that'll be interesting, because the moment Matt Moneymaker's name gets brought up, people are very divided on it. But from what I understand, they went out to parts of the Southern Sierras and did some exploring in that area, and people like Todd Hale talk about their experiences.
I know area. Todd is in this episode because the joke between Eli and I has been that we're going to try to get Todd into every single episode of it somehow. He even made it into the recent UFO cult episode.
Cult. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's great. Cool. All right. So those are just some updates here about just some of the stuff that's kind of going on. There's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to keep track of, but I think there was a question somewhere about, Jennifer Arnold asks, wow, you guys are busy. When do you take a break? What's a break?
Yeah. I mean, like, well, it's like I just said to Alex, this is technically our slow time right now, ahead of the insanity that is going to be the back half of the year. But you know, when you love what you do, you know, everything just feels great. It doesn't matter how busy you are.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I mean, it's just so awesome being able to do some of this stuff. And I mean, it's incredible being on the ground, like just being able to go to a place like BC or obviously Alaska or any of the other locations. Incredible. That's
the best part. The best part of doing this is the traveling to these places.
And you meet the people involved. And I mean, I've met some of the most amazing people just through this topic, you know, that are, whether they're researchers or locals or whatever the case may be. So if anyone has any interesting British Columbia stories and they want to share them, definitely hit us up on our email or just leave a comment, whatever. Speaking of location, we've got a question from Kaiju Ninja. That's Tristan. What's going on? He asks, Alex and Seth, are you coming back to Washington State?
I mean, I have an answer for this. I know that there is going to be a season of Sasquatch Unearthed focused on hopefully, I mean, I haven't discussed this directly with them, but I've heard that they're up for it, the Olympic project. So that will be happening at some point. And then there's a secret project probably centered around the Olympic Peninsula that Eli wants to work on at some point as well. So I know those are the two things that I've got coming out, but Washington's one of my favorite states. So if any excuse I could have to get back out there, and the Olympic, I've said it before, but the Olympic Project guys are some of my favorite people to be around. So anything I can do out there to be around that group, I am glad to take on.
Yeah, I'd love to get up there again, either with the OP or, I mean, there's still stuff like Ape Canyon. There's also Eastern Washington, the whole area, the what is it, the Blue Mountains out there with the Paul Freeman stuff. That's an area I definitely have interest in. But thanks for the question. Definitely love to come back there at some point. Corey James asks, Texas Bigfoot stuff in the pipeline?
Yeah.
Key question there. That's great.
Yeah, no, we're for sure. It's we're supposed to be, I don't know.
Going back.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to give away because it's so far off, but we're filming there this September for sure.
For next year.
For stuff coming out in 2024. And at least one of them is probably, both of them will be Bigfoot related, but one of them is and on the trail of Bigfoot. I'll just say that centered around Sam Houston National Forest.
That whole area, the big thicket of East Texas. I mean, there's a lot of great stories. I know the NAWAC was sort of formerly the East Texas Bigfoot something, right? That was their group before they kind of focused on Area X. So that's pretty neat. There's just a lot of history in that area too. I mean, if you look at those reports at Caddo Lake, the Caddo critter or creature, I don't know what they called it.
Caddo critter, yeah.
That's not that far from Fouke, Arkansas, where obviously everyone knows about the Fouke monster. So pretty cool. Thanks for the question. Jennifer says Olympic Project is awesome. Yep. Harry Man, Hoodwinks and Hoaxes. That's Nikki. What's going on? Nikki says, Alex and Seth, both of you are invited to the Mount St. Helens Sasquatch Shindig in late July. Both Thomas Steenberg and Leon Thompson are slated to attend this camping event. Awesome. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Just tons of people pouring in. And Corey James says, literally just screamed yes out loud. My wife is looking at me like I'm crazy. Very cool. Lisa Cox says, have you ever been to Indiana?
Yeah, we live in Ohio, so that's a border state. We're there a lot. I'm trying to think what we've done there, if anything, and for some reason I feel like we haven't. But having said that, we were a little like behind the scenes, Small Town Monsters trivia. We were originally going to make a movie there. There were two movies we were looking at making in Indiana. One was about this lady who was a serial killer. That would have been a big departure for STM, but I'm very interested in this story.
True crime twist.
Yeah, and the other was a story about a place called, I want to say it's called Lucky Hill. And it's basically like a very, very localized tiny version of Chestnut Ridge. It's a place where like lots of weirdness happens. With a lot of varied phenomena. So we were originally going to make a movie there. We haven't done, I'm trying to think of anything. We haven't done much in Indiana, if anything. But we should, because I really like Daredevil pizza. Yeah.
That's funny. Joe Mapes says, I want a weekly STM podcast. That's tough.
It is tough, monthly. But we're bringing podcasts back. I don't know when, and I don't know who, but I know that Jason being on board now has spurred some things behind the scenes about getting the podcast back on the slate. So they probably wouldn't be on YouTube outside of maybe available for squad members. I'm not even sure if that's going to happen, but getting STM Podcast back is going to happen. And I know Courtney really wants to get Squadcast out more regularly for squad members, which is kind of like a video podcast. So
it's like behind the scenes kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
That's
I want to bring back, I want to bring back Sasquatch. I mean, I've been behind the scenes, I've been talking about that for a while. Like, I'd really like to get back to doing Sasquatch. I haven't talked to Mark about it, but at some point that's something that might happen.
And that's the original thing that really kind of got you in, well, not into this topic, but your foray into
that was my
Bigfoot and weird
first
stuff.
Yeah, my first anything.
Super cool. We've got a question from Tristan again. Says, any upcoming docs on lake monsters?
Eli wants to do something on Ogopogo. I don't know if he has anything else coming. I don't know if the Ogopogo thing will happen. If you're into lake monsters, Alex's On the Trail of Champ is on our YouTube, completely free right now. You can go watch it on the YouTube, and that was Alex's first project with STM.
Yep, back in 2017, 2018. Wow, time.
Also available on
flies.
DVD at the STM shop.
That doesn't seem that long ago, but yeah,
I know it really doesn't.
seems like
but
a decade.
that's that poster I have up there, which we had Stephen Bissett do it, who, by the way, is did kind of the original Swamp Thing.
Co-created Swamp Thing.
Yep. So that's a really cool connection.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mapes asks, a trip to LBL in works?
We had talks to do an LBL thing this year. It's become something else. I can't give too much away. I wanted to talk about it on this. Honestly, I was even thinking about like showing. We have clips from something, but it's kind of a secret project. It's going to come out later this year, centered around Dogman, not in LBL, but we're always LBL was involved in American Werewolves. I would love to do something there, especially if we can get Hellbent Holler involved to some degree. So there's nothing in the works, but it's definitely being talked about.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, let's see. We're Sasquatch Rome saying, when are you coming to Alabama? Good question. I mean, I don't have anything on the radar, but a lot of people ask. I'd love to go check it out. I know northern Alabama, there's a lot of sightings and history. It's kind of like, I think they consider it the foothills of the Appalachians, kind of the northern part of Alabama, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right.
But there's other weird stories there. It'd be cool to check that out at some point. I was just in Louisiana, so kind of the Honey Hill and Swamp borders Mississippi, and it's only really like less than an hour drive to the Alabama border, like to Birmingham from there. So
I saw someone asked if we were doing Cryptid Con in Kentucky this year.
There we go.
They haven't asked. So if they ask, we'd probably do it. We've done it every other year. So if they ask, I'm sure we'll be open to doing it, barring any, like, if it overlaps like my son's some sort of school thing, then no. But it's a great event. We always love doing it, but this year so far, no requests to have us there.
Awesome. Hey there, Matt, Central Florida Bigfoot. What's going on, man? Nice to see you. And Corey James says Broken Bow area in Alabama is pretty good area. Yeah, that's, again, if we at some point are going there, I will definitely start doing the research and figure it out. But there's not any immediate plans, I guess, and it's tough because we all know how it is. There's so many places you'd like to go to, but there's only so many places you can really focus on. So something like Area A is just a big one, Alaska or BC, something like that. So there's a lot there. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions, we're a few more minutes, and we have, just please put them in all caps if you can. It's a little bit easier. But got another question about, would STM ever travel international to go to places like Australia for the Yowie?
Yeah. The cost, the international cost is what's killer. It's the travel cost to bring a crew to a place, because you got to, right now when we do a big shoot like Alaska, you're talking about
like 6 people,
6 to 8 people flying, and
with
end of the day
bags.
We're still a little independent production company. It gets extremely costly. I keep saying, like, my dream project still remains Loch Ness. And I hope someday I can do something about that, but we'll see. As long as, if we can come up with the travel funds to do it, and I'm not like, that's not the audience to give us the travel funds. I'm just saying, like, it all comes down to what we can afford to do.
Right. Yeah, that would be a cool one. Loch Ness is kind of the one I started with, I guess, but it's always something I'd love to go back to. Encrypted Connections, that's my buddy Kyle. Shout out to Kyle. He says October Mountain is a spot you guys should do. That's in Western Massachusetts. Yeah, that will definitely be a Bigfoot Beyond the Trail. Kyle actually had an incredible encounter there when he was, I think, 14. I mean, one of the most vivid Sasquatch sightings I've ever heard of in my life. So that would be a really cool one to do. And I know we've talked about that, Kyle. We'll definitely do that. Amy Boo says, would love to do something with you guys in the Alleghenies. I would love to do some Bigfoot Beyond the Trail out there, Amy. So definitely we'll talk about this.
Amy, I can say this. I completely forgot to announce this, but Sasquatch Unearthed Season 1 was called The Ridge. Sasquatch Unearthed Season 2 kicks off in May at some point. It's called Monsters of the Mountain State.
24.
Mountain State Monsters.
Well, 28.
May 28th is the public debut of that. It's been a really fun series so far. We're going to be filming some more here. We've gone 2 trips so far. We have one
next week.
We have another coming up next week. But the reason I said Amy is the third season, the planned third season would be set here in Ohio, and I really want to get Amy involved in that to some degree. So I'm just saying that. So
yeah, heck yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in Ohio. Mr. Tumulus says, I think STM movie on British Big Cats would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would definitely be up my alley. I mean, that's something. And that's on that note, though, there will be a documentary coming out at some point on the channel about the Florida Panther. So if you guys know, we have my film Lions of the East. You can go check that out. I think the poster's up here, done by Matt Harris, who is actually one of the original kind of STM artists, actually.
Yeah.
So there's a little Easter egg for you, but that will be cool. So big cats are always fun. Mark and AZ asks, any interest in the Superstition Mountains? It looks like a cool area.
I forget where the Superstition Mountains are.
Arizona.
Yeah. Heck yeah. At any chance any excuse I can find to go back to Arizona, I'd be down.
Definitely. We'll take a few more questions here, guys, but Heather Gum says, have any plans to come to Michigan?
We were actually just discussing a Sasquatch Unearthed or something like that, set in the Upper Peninsula.
Oh yeah.
Because it's such a cool area and it's been underexplored. So I'm hoping at some point we can get up there.
Yeah, I'd love to get up there myself too, because I look at a map of the stuff we've done with Bigfoot Beyond the Trail just alone, and the Midwest is completely bare. I mean, we haven't, and I know there's stuff in Minnesota and the UP and Michigan, so there's a lot of cool stuff for sure in that kind of area. But anyway, all right, I think we'll start wrapping up soon here then, unless anybody has anything else they want to, get off their chest, I guess, or any other announcements or anything.
Mr. Tumulus, however you say it, we haven't made a movie about the Brown Mountain Lights, but there's an entire episode of On the Trail of UFOs Season 1 that's about mystery lights, and it was some of it was shot at Brown Mountain. I went out to Brown Mountain with Micah Hanks and Shannon LeGros and did a little investigating out there. So if you're interested in the Brown Mountain Lights, you can check that out.
You need to go to the Mogollon Rim in Arizona. Yeah, that's a place I've been before, and I'd love to go back there. It's super cool. Anyway, all right, cool. I think that pretty much covers it. So Monster Fest, guys, June 2nd and 3rd. I got that right now. Get your tickets. Come hang out. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have so many people. It's not a super serious thing, but it's serious about the topic. So it's just going to be an absolute blast. And keep your eyes peeled for all the projects coming up. We've got obviously a lot of the films coming up, a lot of the YouTube stuff. So just keep your eyes kind of peeled, and we will be bringing a lot of neat stuff to people.
Sweet. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We're hoping to do some of these maybe more, kind of every month, do a little live stream like this, just kind of connect with folks. So with that being said, everyone take it easy, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Bye.